Women and girls need to be believed. Full stop. This is not a problem that is unique to India. It is a problem, a crisis that needs to be confronted the world over. No country, no society is exempt. Believe women, believe them, and let us act on that belief. India is the home of my birth, and America is my adopted home. What is the essence of a country? Well, that's like asking, what is the essence of a human life? I only know that I've been infinitely enriched by both. I have traveled the roads of both India and America. I have waded into their rivers, their towns, their forests. They're both beautiful, and they've made me, each in its way, braver, more compassionate, and more convinced of the unending nobility of the human spirit. Literature is simply a story. It is a story of another life. We've been telling these stories since that first day, since we built that first fire and sat in a circle around it. Did these stories make us more resilient? Did they give our lives meaning? Did these stories illuminate the darkest parts of our hearts, the deepest caves of our nights? Did these stories give us hope? Yes, all of those things. Literature, since that first day, has done nothing else. As Fernando Pessoa said, literature is proof that life is not enough. In my time as a legal advocate, I did indeed work with survivors of human trafficking and domestic violence, and their stories certainly inform my work. But I think what is most necessary and most propulsive for a writer of fiction is the human imagination. The human imagination is a place that is infinite, and it is the duty of every storyteller to access this place, to challenge it, and to demand from it the most uncompromising and most unrelenting story. As Franz Kafka said, a book must be the axe for the frozen sea within us. We can rarely control the movement of social progress, but we can always, always control our own individual progress. I have not lived in India for many years, but what I want to say is that Girls Burn Brighter is not a novel solely about the imbalances between men and women in India. It is about the imbalances in every society. To imagine that our societies are somehow greater and somehow more enlightened and have achieved some sort of exquisite balance is a dangerous fallacy. And it makes us comfortable, it makes us complacent, and it makes us stop fighting. And that is something we cannot afford to do. I would say read. Read. Nothing in my life has given me more courage than the act of reading. And how did it do that? By showing me that I was not alone, by making me less lonely. Literature now has entered my blood. It pulses through my veins. As a girl and as a young woman, and even now, experiencing other lives, real or imagined, has made my life more bearable. It has emboldened me and has increased my sense of who I am and of what I am capable. Quite simply, reading and literature have made me stronger. I find myself talking to animals all the time. Birds, butterflies, cats, dogs, donkeys, insects, really anyone who'll listen. I find that they're wonderful conversationalists, supremely alive. In fact, I think we humans were placed among them so they can teach us how to live without malice and with wonder. And since I'm so often in dialogue with animals, it seemed only natural to have them in dialogue with my novel. And in fact, as far as I'm concerned, there can be no great human adventure without adventures of our non-human friends. Little House on the Prairie by Laura Ingalls Wilder was the first book I read after moving to the United States and learning English. It left a deep impression on me. Looking back on it as an adult, I realized it's a complicated historical chronicle, but it's also a story. It's a story of a little girl who crossed the vast American prairie with her family, and it was read by a little girl who's also recently crossed a vast stretch of land and sea. And I saw myself in that little girl, and I still do. Isn't it extraordinary what literature can do?